The average sale price in Portland, Oregon has been lower than last year's numbers for 3 months straight now. Have mortgage rates below the 6% mark injected any life into our real estate market? Let's take a look at the very latest stats and trends. Hi everyone, RRMilligan here, bringing you the very latest in our local real estate stats and trends. As always, the market sample I'm working with includes the full Portland metro area, including Southwest Washington. Curious about a specific community in the metro area? Feel free to drop me a line or post a note in the comment section here. One of the biggest stories this week is that we saw a big reversal in the average sale price. Even though the average sale price was only down 1% compared to the previous week, it was down 4.9% compared to the same week last year. Looking at the bigger picture, the average sale price for the 2 weeks of October was running about 1.2% higher than the same time period last year. However, when we threw our most recent week of data into the mix, prices actually ended up in the red by about 1.4%. So prices were down 1.4% compared to the first 3 weeks of October 2024. One thing to bear in mind is that mortgage rates last year were on the rise from the low numbers that we were seeing back in September. That's September of 2024. When rates start to rise, it can kick buyers into high gear to go out and get that property that they've been circling, get it under contract with their mortgage rate locked in before rates move any higher. In addition to that, it'll be a couple more weeks before we start to see the results of our current lower interest rates in our sale numbers. I think that we might be looking down the pike at a couple, 3 weeks of pretty ugly numbers headed our way. The supply of homes for buyers to purchase was down from the previous week. That's pretty typical for this time of year. For a while there, we were seeing the supply of homes decrease faster this year than they were last year at this time, but that trend seems to have stalled out. Currently, buyers have about 17.3% more homes to choose from compared to 2024. That's up from the 15.2% increase that we had for the past couple of weeks, but it's still a lot better than the 33% gain over 2024 that we were seeing during the first half of this year. On the demand side of the equation, the number of new purchase contracts agreed to by buyers and sellers was up by about 4% over the previous week. Even though it usually takes a couple few weeks for news about lower interest rates to penetrate public awareness, I suspect that our current lower mortgage rates have had something to do with this increase in buyer activity. Speaking of mortgage rates, the 30-year fixed has been holding pretty firm for about the last 8 or 9 days. I've seen a couple local lenders consistently advertising 5.875% best case scenario. Again, that's good news for both buyers and sellers. The Fed is meeting next Tuesday and Wednesday. That's the 28th and 29th of October of this month. Markets are still anticipating another quarter-point rate cut. Despite the government shutdown, we are supposed to be getting one of the September inflation reports on Friday. That's the day that I typically release this video. That report is for the September Consumer Price Index, and it does have the potential to move rates in one direction or the other. If that does happen, I will post a note in the comment section here right after I post this video. We haven't seen much change in the number of foreclosure and pre-foreclosure homes on our open market over the last few weeks. Same with the notices of default, which is that first step in the foreclosure process. Those numbers have been pretty low over the past couple of weeks as well. The number of sellers pulling their properties off the market is still running pretty hot. I averaged the number of canceled and expired listings over the past 4 weeks, and we're seeing a 27% increase in the number of canceled and expired listings compared to last year at this time. So sellers appear to be continuing to delist their properties, pull them off the market, either to rent them out or maybe to wait for a better market to sell. So let's sum up the biggest trends for the week. Sale prices were down, supply was also down, buyer demand moved higher, and mortgage rates were unchanged. That's all I've got for you this week. If I've missed something or if you have a question about any of the numbers, feel free to drop me a line or post it here in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you right here next week.